If you are familiar with online arbitrage, you have probably heard of a product called Storefront Stalker Pro. This is a software that lets you download UPCs and ASINs directly from Amazon to then upload and scan through Tactical Arbitrage. You could scan your competitors' top 100 products, or you could just search anything on Amazon and then download that list. I got a comment from a subscriber about 9 months ago on a video talking about Storefront Stalker Pro, saying they were no longer selling it, but that the developer had rebranded into Tactical Expander Lite. At the time, I didn't look into it much further, but I've since switched over and I'm quite impressed with the new software. I wanted to make a video for you guys to show you what the new software is all about, walk you through it, and then give you my initial impressions. Quick note that Tactical Expander Lite is the same price as Storefront Stalker Pro at $149 for lifetime access. Also, if you already had Storefront Stalker Pro, you could contact customer service and switch over with no additional charge. Now let's jump onto my computer, we'll go on Amazon and start downloading some lists so I could show you some ways to use the software. One of the first ways to use Tactical Expander is to search your competitors for products they are also selling. So as an example, this Fire Mario is a product I was selling a while ago. I ended up losing money on it because the price tanked. But what we can do is go on the listing, scroll down, look at new and used offers. Then you just want to go through and look for competitors that you potentially want to scan. On my older videos talking about Storefront Stalker Pro, my tip is always to search for sellers with higher amounts of ratings, indicating that they're more likely to have a large amount of products for sale. I opened up 2 storefronts on other tabs, which I'll show you, and we'll go from there. So for instance, this seller here has 7,000 results, and this seller here has 100,000 results. One of the first things we used to do was scroll down to the bottom, and then we would see how many pages they would have, because the previous Storefront Stalker would only download 150 pages of results, which I believe 150 pages of results is about 2,500 products, which is great. But with Tactical Expander Lite, we can now download this entire catalog of 7,000 plus products. So you're talking about potentially doubling or tripling the amount of results you're going to get off a seller like this. For a seller like this that has 100,000 plus results, that's a significant amount of results compared to the 2,500 you could previously get. So in order to download a list of this seller's products, you want to go up here to the Tactical Expander icon, click that, and it actually pulls up a separate window. So one of the first things you'll notice is it has this list here. One of the cool things also about this new program is that you could scan potentially up to 4 or more sellers at a time. Now there's a couple things to unpack here. Because previously with Storefront Stalker, my strategy was to download a list of 150 pages, upload that into Tactical Arbitrage, and then start scanning it. With this program, you have a couple different capabilities. For a seller like this that has 100,000 results, it is going to take a while for this program to download all those results. So even though I could scan more sellers, it doesn't really make sense to bog down the system. So I'm actually going to hit run right now on this one so it can start running. Previously, my strategy was downloading lists from sellers with 150 pages of results. This way we could download a large list, upload it into Tactical Arbitrage, and then scan it. The interesting thing with this program is you don't necessarily have to look for 150 pages of results, because you could combine multiple sellers to equal that 150. Or you could potentially look for only bigger sellers like this one and get a very large list of products to sell at any given time. So this really opens up the possibilities. One of the things I noted initially is you have to keep this window open in the background and running. It doesn't seem like, from what I understand so far, that you can actually potentially download this and then just turn off your computer and wait for it to run, then you can reopen it later and it's downloaded. You have to keep your windows open so that way it's downloading the list. So as I said, this is 100,000 results. You can see while I was talking, we got up to 2,500. In order for it to download the 100,000, it's going to take a little while. So we'll let this run in the background, and then I'll show you a couple quick other ways to download lists. I forgot to film this part of the video the other day when I was filming the first part of the video. So I wanted to go back over it to show you guys because I did mention it. So for Amazon bestsellers, you want to go to this Amazon bestsellers page, and then on the left hand side you could search any of these categories, and then you could download a list from them. For instance, I clicked on patio, lawn, and garden, And then you could go ahead, click Tactical Expander, and then you could search this list just like you did with the other ones. I personally don't search these best sellers too often. The main reason is they're best sellers. So they're going to be highly competitive, and there's a good chance Amazon is selling it. So for me, the chances of getting good results from it aren't that high. The other thing that I was mentioning was searching anything on Amazon and then downloading a list from that. I do that sometimes. So over here, you can see I searched Barbie, and similar to the other one, you click Tactical Expander, and then you have these two options, and you just hit run. It'll start downloading results from these two pages, and then once the list is done being downloaded, you could then upload it to Tactical Arbitrage and start searching through it. Speaking about results, we're going to hop over to Tactical Arbitrage, and we'll start going through the results from the search I did the other day. We've let this search run in the background for a little while now, and you can see we have 80,000 results. The list we're downloading should be about 100,000 results, but 80,000 is a pretty good number, so we're going to stop the search and then go on to the next step so I can show you that. So you just want to hit stop here. This will stop the download, and it will take the 80,700 we have and put it into a list. If this is your first time using Tactical Expander, they do put in the setup instructions that you want to go over to Tactical Arbitrage, and you want to check this import ASIN extraction from Tactical Expander the first time before you hit export. I just want to throw that in there to make sure you did it before you did this next step. So then on here, all you have to do is you hit export to TA. Click that. Before we go on to upload this into Tactical Arbitrage, you can see some of the information that Tactical Expander is downloading. You have the ASIN, you have the image of the product, you have the price, you have the title, you have a bunch of information that you can then upload to Tactical Arbitrage. So now that we're on Tactical Arbitrage, we'll click this button here. Now one thing to keep in mind is usually with reverse search, you can't search more than 25,000 results at a time. So Tactical Expander, because it knows it's 80,000 roughly items it downloaded, it's actually going to split that into 3 files at a maximum of 25,000 line items per file. So you can see here, there's part 1 of 4, part 2 of 4, part 3 of 4, and part 4 of 4. We'll start with the first one and get that imported. 2 things to mention before we go on further. When you scroll down, there is all these filters that you can set in order to better search your lists to get the best results possible. I do have several other Tactical Arbitrage videos you could check out. I actually have a whole playlist down in the description, which I'll link. So if you want to know more about filters that I'm using and stuff, they'll be in those videos. The other thing, if you're not currently using Tactical Arbitrage, there's going to be a link down in the description for a 10-day free trial. You just have to use code PATH2BILLIONS in order to get it. So you can see it uploaded the first file. All we're going to do now is hit search. So you can see it's going to expect about 25,000 line items because there's one large file. It's checking the products. And again, similar to downloading the list from Amazon, you are going to have to wait for the results to come through, and then we can look through them. So I'm going to give this some time to run as well, and then I'll come back to you once it's done running, and we can start digging through some of the results. Here we are on Tactical Arbitrage, and before we dive into the results, I do want to go over a couple things. That seller with 100,000 items listed on Amazon that I downloaded a list of about 80,000 of those, it turned out when I was done searching, I found almost no results from that seller. I was kind of confused by this, so I went back over it and looked into it. And it looks like that seller, the reason they have 100,000 items listed is because they are a dropship seller. That means they are focused more on volume instead of profit. So a lot of the items that it was searching were not high profit. With that in mind, I went ahead and searched a couple other competitors, plus I added that Barbie list I was mentioning. Let's start going over these results. Now I do something a little differently than I used to. Before we used to go over to Search Manager, and then we would search through each individual search and look through the results. I started using this other feature where you go to reverse search and you can hit view reverse, and this brings up all your reverse search results in one place. From here, I filtered it down a little bit already to start getting better results than what we originally had. Some of the filters I used are, for instance, products I know I can't sell, like LOL Surprise or Lego, or any of those brands I know I'm currently gated and can't get on gated as of yet. I also filter it down because you'll get a lot of results that show you as like 1300% ROI. So I excluded those, and I actually narrowed it down to anything that's like 300% or lower. I also took off some sources off of here. So for instance, I got rid of eBay results. You can occasionally find results from eBay, but usually they're out of stock or they're used or it's the wrong product. The thing with filtering down your results is it speeds up the process to make it easier to make sure you're finding more profitable products. The thing is, you do trade off that you are potentially going to skip out on some results that could be good products, but it's a time versus reward thing that you have to consider for yourself. For this part of the video, I'll show you a couple of the results I found, go through a little bit of what I'm looking for. But if you do want to know more, I do have that playlist down in the description that I had mentioned earlier. So let's just scroll through and click on one or two of these to show you what I'm looking for. This first line is a good example. When I first set up the search, I did tell Tactical Arbitrage to remove anything with cases or packs in the listing. But for some reason, you can see this one is a case of 6. And then this is most likely a single. So the result isn't going to be accurate because I would have to buy 6 of these in order to sell it on Amazon. Let's scroll down a little further and see what else we could find. Another thing I've noticed recently is Kohl's. Anything from Kohls.com is pretty much guaranteed to be out of stock. Just as an example, click on this real quick, and you can see this is out of stock. Which Tactical Arbitrage does check if items are in stock, but for some reason a lot of these results aren't accurate, even though I refreshed the results recently. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of the results I'm finding are out of stock or not available any longer on the websites. So without dragging this out for too long, I'll show you this one real quick just to give you an idea what I'm looking for. I do know I'm gated in this brand and the item is out of stock, but at least I could show you a general idea what I'm looking for. Mostly you want to go down to this listing, you want to see the price that it's selling for, and then you want to compare that to the price on whatever website you're buying it from. The big thing I do is definitely checking out Keepa and seeing what kind of information I gather from this. So right now it's set to 3 months. You could see these orangish color. Here is when Amazon was in stock. You can see Amazon hasn't been in stock for about a week or so, and the price has risen because of that. So you can see it's right now at $145, whereas Amazon was selling for $60. If you look at a year, you can see there's a solid point where Amazon was in stock for a while, and then again when Amazon sells up, the price jumps up really high. So if you could find this product for sale online, this would be a product I would consider buying. Based on Tactical Arbitrage's information, it does look like this product was normally $40 at store. So turning $40 and selling it for $140, there's definitely profit margin to be made. This is one of the biggest issues I'm having right now with online arbitrage, is almost everything online that Tactical Arbitrage is giving me is out of stock. So there are a lot of results that you have to dig through. This is just the game of online and retail arbitrage. You have to scan through a bunch of products that aren't profitable to find those ones that are. If every product was profitable, everybody would be doing this and everybody would be making a ton of money, but that's not how this works. Realistically, you have to go through a ton of results to find those few that are profitable, and those that are willing to put in the work get the reward. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to use Tactical Expander to search through thousands of results in order to find potential products to sell on Amazon. If you want to know more about Tactical Arbitrage, definitely check out this playlist I have up here. Don't forget to subscribe if you found this video helpful. Check out links in the description if you want to know more. As always, thanks for watching.